Today we have an interview with Kev Merrey. I went down to Coalhouse Fort, which is on the Thames estuary, and we had an absolutely beautiful sunny day. Dropped the sprog off at primary school, ran down there as quick as I could, and then interviewed Kev and then sprinted back as well. We had a great chat about his tips for videoing, his trips with his kids when they were small and the trips that they do now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and here it is. Hello. So we're here with Kev Merrey from Skyrise Productions. Kev, could you introduce yourself a little bit for us?
Yeah, as you said, my name's Kev Merrey. I'm a local lad. I live just up the road, funny enough. I work on the River Thames as a licensed waterman, and I also run a film company called Skyrise Productions.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
And you have a family? Anything about your family at all?
I do, yeah. I've got a wife and 2 children. My daughter's 11 and my boy's 14, so it keeps them busy. Yeah.
Okay, so you're an adventure videographer, even. Who have you worked with? Anyone that we might know?
Yeah, I've worked with a few. I've had a really, because it's my first full year doing filmmaking, and in fact last year was my first big film, which was with Conway. We filmed him up in the Lake District, so that was fantastic, and that led on to working with Alistair Humphreys, which you came out on that day.
Oh, shit, yeah.
With Dave Conway, Phoebe Smith, Lizzie Carr. Next week we're on a shoot with a chap called Ian Finch. He's a expedition leader and photographer. We're up in the Lake District. So yeah, got loads going on, some really good stuff. So, you know, considering it's my first year, it's been
right in the deep end with all the big names.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been great. And next year, I just think that things are going to really open up. I've got some fantastic plans. I'm even featuring in a film that we're going to make up in the Highlands of Scotland, like a trail running film, which I'm going to reveal soon. So yeah, it's amazing.
You do a lot of trail running yourself, do you? Or?
I do. Yeah. In fact, after this, I'm driving up to South Benfleet Station. And then I'm going to run along. It's called the Canvey Creek, all the way along to Thorpe Bay and back, which will be about 18 miles, I think. So yeah, just a short run.
Just a little fun run on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
So our podcast is all about raising kids adventurously. Is that something you aim to do with your children?
Yeah, definitely. You know, as I say, I've got 2 fairly young kids, but even since they were really small, we used to take them out. You know, we've got dogs and we're always getting out on country walks and stuff like that. I just think it's really important to get kids out and about these days, especially with the you know, with the internet and Facebook and Instagram. And you know, I've noticed, you know, my boy, he's got an Xbox, and you know, when we were younger, we used to have games consoles, but we was, you know, go round to your friends and you'd all sit together and play them, and now they can play online, so they don't even see their friends as much, you know. And I've noticed that kids just don't go out as much these days. So I think more and more it needs to, you know, it's important for children to get out in the open and connect with the open, you know.
Yeah, that's really good. What have you done then to foster that adventure in your kids? Have you done anything? Yeah,
I mean, like even just locally. I mean, you don't have to take them on like great big adventures. If you can, it's brilliant, you know. But we try, and a lot of the holidays we have, we're not so much people that we like to go on beach holidays, but quite often if we go on holiday, we'll get out and about and sort of have some adventures while we're out, while we're on holiday, instead of just sitting on a beach all day. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, we go to like a lot of English holidays as well, like hiking trips to Wales, and the kids have really got into like wild swimming, which is great. Oh, cool. They love it. You know, if we were here today, they'd probably ask if they could go in. You're probably not allowed here, but you know, even locally to us, there's a place called the River Chelmer, which is a beautiful. It's an old canal system that's now just for leisure. You know, you get weekend boats on there, and it's fantastic for swimming. And we'll just take the kids out for a day's hike. We take our swimming gear, something to eat. The dogs come with us, and the kids just jump in. And you know, they've definitely got that kind of adventurous spirit, even though they still, you know, it's hard sometimes to get them out of their bedroom when they're stuck on their computer games. But we do take them out. It's so important, you know. Definitely.
Have there been any issues or challenges you faced trying to get other than getting them away from the Xbox? Obviously, there's like getting them outside? Has there been any challenges being a parent, or is it fairly simple, fairly easy? Or
it can be. I mean, the winter obviously is harder, you know. In the summertime, if it's a nice day, you know, they're quite happy to go out, and we'll take them out to places. But in the winter, obviously, it's more difficult. But we're lucky, we've got dogs, so we like a box of dogs, so we'll walk them for miles, and we'll just drag the kids out whether they like it or not, you know. and all right, they put up a fight first of all, but once we've done it, I think you can definitely tell they've got a bit of a smile on their face, and you know, they've got fresh air in their lungs, they've had some exercise, and we quite often take the dogs to places that we haven't been before, so it's kind of like a little mini adventure, you know, or maybe we'll try and find somewhere to have something to eat along the way, and you know.
So a lot of our viewers' children have children who are much younger than, say, yours, who are both teenagers.
Yeah.
Have you done anything in the past to foster adventure? When did you start pushing them towards adventure?
I'm fairly young, you know. I mean, a few instances when my boy was, before my daughter was born, so my boy would have been like 2 or 3. We used to have one of these kind of like off-road buggies. One example, we went for a walk over in Kent in the countryside, and it was in the winter. It's really muddy, and we just sort of drove down this lane, saw like a public footpath, and just walked for miles, you know. And the buggy was clogged up with mud, and you know, the dogs were charging around. But you know, my boy was only very young, and that, you know, that encourages him, I think, from a young age. Or even when he was a real small baby, we used to have a backpack, one of these baby backpacks, and then just go for a walk. And I think, even though he may not remember it, he's getting that fresh air and kind of like exercise from a young age. So yeah, even just walking, you know. But like I say, a lot of the holidays we've had have been geared around sort of getting outside, you know, like Devon, Snowdonia, places like that. And the kids love it, you know. So
do you think taking him out at 2, 3, and then taking him through the years, that influences enjoyment of going outside now he's a teenager?
I think so, yeah. They've definitely got this kind of, you know, that they're always asking where we can go for a swim or stuff like that. And even when we go on holidays, they sort of say, oh, we're going to go somewhere that, you know, we can have a bit of an adventure. Yeah.
Cool. So obviously you're a videographer, and all our viewers are parents. Are there any tips you could give for parents videoing their children, or like 5 top tips sort of thing, or is there anything you would avoid doing? Or
I wouldn't say anything that we really need to avoid. I mean, obviously this day and age, you know, the technology is fantastic with small cameras, GoPros, and like even sort of gimbals cameras, like you can get the sort of GoPro gimbal camera, so you can get like real good quality footage. I mean, you don't have to be like a trained camera operator to get pretty good footage these days. So, you know, if you can afford it, a GoPro or something like that, and you can just click away. And even now with the GoPros, they come with editing software on your phones. I think it's called GoPro Quick, where you can make some fantastic films that you can just share with friends and family, and also they're just brilliant to keep, you know, as memories.
Do you do a lot of films of your family yourself? Or?
Yeah, a fair amount. I mean, when we were lucky enough to go to California last year on holiday. We did like a fly drive, and I didn't want to take a big camera and mess around with that, but I just took a GoPro, and I just every day I just filmed in the different places we were, and just made a film at the end of it. But yeah, so it's pretty easy these days.
To look back on once you get back home, and you can see
exactly,
and the kids can see themselves. So as kids, we didn't have a lot of video software. Like, I think there's maybe 3 videos of me as a kid, but yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier these days. You know, like, the cameras you used to have back in the day were heavy duty. There was no editing software, and they were really expensive as well. I mean, it was kind of, you know, you sometimes pay £500, £600, £700 for something that now you can buy a GoPro. Even off eBay you can get a GoPro for, you know, it's like 50 or 60 quid, and you've got this fantastic HD quality tiny camera, and it's it's brilliant,
and waterproof as well, which is another
that's
bonus.
it. I mean, the fun we have with the kids, just jumping in the rivers and going into the sea and stuff like that, and it's brilliant to film.
Cool. So tips: get a GoPro and use the online the software on your phone. So just do what you can.
Exactly.
So if there are any tips to live more adventurously with your children, or encourage more adventurousness from your children, getting them off their Xbox, for example, what any tips for parents at home?
I would say, you know, it doesn't, like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be a big adventure. Just going out, you know, even just look on Google Maps, look at your local area, and just think, right, okay, that's a nice green area. Look where the footpaths are, and just go out and explore. You know, just explore your local area. Even on a winter's day, just get all wrapped up. You know, you don't have to have dogs. You know, just go and walk and explore places, and then. Yeah, I mean, it's just more about just getting them outside more than anything, you know.
Yeah.
Or even bike rides. Yeah, my boy's quite keen on mountain biking, and I've been on some great bike rides with my boy. The Thames Path. I've been along here, and the other day I just chucked the bikes on the bike rack with my boy, and we went up to a place called Broxbourne Woods, which is near Lee Valley, and we spent a few hours just tearing around the trails, you know. And yeah, just it's just a simple case. I think. You know, they are some of them going to put up a fight. You know, they just would rather sit in their room on their Xboxes, but you know, parents are in charge, so it's like in the car we're going.
We know what's best for them.
Yeah,
outside,
that's right. Yeah.
So let's talk a bit more about your filming with Al Humphreys and the like. So what's been your biggest highlight of filming with these big adventurers?
Well, I mean, obviously the Sean Conway one was the first film we did, so that was obviously pretty special, and obviously where it was in the Lake District, and considering we're still fairly new to the game now, we've learnt a lot in this past year, but that was our first sort of official film shoot for Skyrise, and we were up there for 3 days, and we were lucky enough to stay at Sean's place, and he was a great kind of host, and he's like a real cool guy, like really down to earth, and the whole film shoot just went without a hitch really. It was fantastic, so that was obviously a highlight. And then Alistair Humphreys, one that you came along and helped on, that was, I mean, it was a stunning day. You know, it was just brilliant to see these guys in action, you know, because people like Alistair Humphreys, who, you know, they've done expeditions across the Arctic and rode oceans and stuff like that, and you know, they're great characters to work with. So yeah, there's been a few highlights. You know, did a wild camp film shoot with Phoebe Smith. We watched Lizzie Carr actually paddleboarded around on a river, and just fantastic to see her. You know, like the balance and the skill she's got on a paddleboard is incredible. I mean, she was the first woman to paddleboard the length of Britain, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's been quite a few highlights. But are you planning to go abroad with it? Because obviously you talked about Alistair Humphreys having these big adventures like crossing the Atlantic, that sort of thing. Are you, or Arctic, or do you think about going abroad and doing some the bigger projects, following people on bigger expeditions? Yeah, definitely. That's kind of the aim really. We're kind of starting in this country, starting fairly small with these. I mean, the film shoots that we're doing are normally only like a couple of days. Next week we've got a 4-day film shoot in the Lake District, which is my longest film shoot. But the aim is to kind of to go further afield, and you know, I'd love to film somewhere like Canada or you know, or anywhere really, just on a sort of bigger expedition style film shoot. So yeah,
I'll disappear for like a few weeks. Will the wife be happy with that, and the kids?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she'd be okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You said you had a big plan coming up soon. What was that one?
That one is I can't actually reveal.
Oh, secrets.
Yeah. I've got something that's it's going to be like a regular film project that will take me kind of some of the really wild places around Britain. So I'm really excited about that, but I can't reveal anything yet. I'm not trying to sound like I'm, you know, but it's
MI5.
No. I think we'll be revealing it in over the next couple of months. But there's that one, and then Sean Conway. It's been quite unlucky, really. He did ask me to go on. He was supposed to be cycling around Australia this year, and that didn't happen due to sponsorship issues. And then instead of that, he attempted to cycle across Europe, and he wanted me to join him as a camera guy, but it was real short notice, and I just couldn't. Again, it's a lot of sponsorship issues. These big film shoots really take sometimes up to a year to organise. So much to do with organising sponsorships and funding, etc. So, but that was amazing. But the Sean Conway trips, I think, are going to happen next year, and we're hoping that we'll be going out to Australia to film him for 6 weeks.
Well, that'd be immense, going to Australia.
Yeah, it will be really cool. It's a shame that it didn't happen this year, but you know what, things are what they're meant to be, aren't they? So maybe, you know, next year I'll be as a camera operator myself, be more prepared and have more experience. So Yeah, it's exciting. Next year is going to be really cool, I think. Yeah. And going back to the kids, you know, they're seeing that I'm doing this filming and a lot of outdoor adventure stuff, and it's, you know, maybe they don't want to be filmmakers or camera, you know, I'm sure they won't be, but it shows that you can kind of get cracking and do this sort of thing.
Like following your dream sort of thing, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Like doing what you want to do and making the choices you want to do to achieve what you want from life, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even down to like doing this sort of long trail runs and stuff like that. I mean, my boy's actually turning out to be quite a good runner. He comes out running with me quite often, and my daughter did gymnastics for years, and you know, she's quite fit, and I'm sure that they'll get into different sports as they get older. But I think the great thing about the outdoors is that it's free. You know, so you don't. You know, obviously it's great to be members of cycling clubs and running clubs, but if you haven't got the time or you're not really that way inclined, you can just, like today, you know, I've just got my running trainers on and I'm just going to go for a run, and it'll be fantastic. It's a beautiful day, and just go for a long run, and you know, take your kids with you.
I think that's one of the absolute, like, it being free is one of the biggest things, isn't it? Like any families complain, I can't afford to live adventurously. Yeah, it costs nothing.
It costs nothing. No, I mean, the other day we decided to go camping, my family and I, and we just decided that morning, let's go camping for the weekend. And we didn't go far. We drove up to Suffolk. It took us an hour to get there. Found a campsite and just had a great weekend. The kids loved it, and we spent like a couple of days just jumping in and out of rivers, and went to the sea and picnics, and you know, we had a real sort of an adventurous.
And these are teenagers who are enjoying this.
Exactly, yeah.
Kids.
I mean, there was, yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's the good thing. I mean, okay, it wasn't free as such, but there's nothing to stop you.
Well, you're not going to be spending any more, I suppose.
It's not a huge amount.
You make your packed lunches, that sort of thing. I mean, you're paying for the campsite. That's a like tenner maximum, sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and that's it. And then you're away, and the kids are excited. It's a different scenario, different environment. Yeah. Kids are loving it. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, Kev, for coming and talking to us. And I hope you got a lot from that at home. And I'll see you next time. Cool. Thanks, Kev.
That's a wrap.
So as is typical, you go and see a videographer and your camera stops working all the way through the interview. So all those sections in the middle where you got photos of adventurers on their trips are actually Kev Merrey and his company filming them on their adventures. So yeah, big thanks to Kev for letting me use his clips all the way through the video. And yeah, if you want to check out his stuff, go check out Skyrise Productions and you'll get all your video needs there. Great on Vimeo, great on YouTube. See you later, have fun, bye bye.